Okay, so you're probably at least a little bit interested in learning how to get your first 10, 20, 100,000 followers on social media, and you don't really know how to do that, so you're watching a video on how to do that. Now, if you don't know who I am, I've got like 150,000 followers, and I've done that in just 6 months, but I've spent 4 years or so learning social media. I spent the first 3.5 years learning social media and editing videos for some of the biggest creators in their niches. I managed to get people billions of views, literally billions of views. So in this video, I'll tell you the 3 most important things that I learned throughout my time of doing that, and what I've learned in the last 6 months of creating content on my own. And mostly the reason I'm making this video is because most of the videos online telling you how to grow on social media are kind of stupid, and they're basically giving you need to post at 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock and 11 o'clock, and you need to use this hook and this and that. Also, the last thing you probably realized by now, I'm not going to be doing some fancy edits in this video to make it really engaging, because if you don't have 10 minutes worth of attention span to sit down and listen to someone who's where you want to be tell you how to get there, then you're really not going to make it anyway. So to be honest, I suggest you either watch this video 5 times or you get some notes out and you start writing down what I say. So like I said, there's 3 points, and I'm going to do them in order of most important to least important, and then I'll loop back to the most important one at the end. So the most important point is average view duration. Now, if you don't know what average view duration is, it's the average amount of time that all your viewers spend watching your video. So if you get 1,000 viewers, it's going to take the average that all of those viewers watch together of that video in seconds usually, and then that will be the average view duration. So a high average view duration on a YouTube short video, say it's 60 seconds long, the average view duration could be 40, and that's quite high. But a really low one's like 6, 7 or 8 seconds, you know? Now, to understand why average view duration is the most important thing across all social media, you have to understand what social media platforms want. And the number one thing a social media platform wants is money, because they're a business. So then you've got to ask the question of, how do social media platforms make money? And the basic answer to that is by keeping as many people on the platform for as long as possible. Because obviously if you've got 2 people, one of them sits on the platform for 10 hours and one of them sits on the platform for 10 minutes, the person who's been on it for 10 hours will make them more money because they've been able to show that person more ads, potentially sell that person products, and other things like that. So the longer someone's on the platform for, the more money the platform makes. So social media platforms are incentivized to keep people on the platform. And the way they do that is by keeping the people engaged so they don't leave and get bored. So then this loops back into the average view duration. If TikTok has 2 videos, obviously it's on a massive scale, but if they have 2 videos and one video has a 40-second average view duration and the other one has a 6-second average view duration, TikTok, I'll say TikTok, but all social media will push the one with 40 seconds because it's way more likely, as it's an average, that everybody is going to be way more entertained and engaged by the 40-second long video than the 6-second long video. Because if people are just scrolling through 6-second long average view duration videos, they're going to get bored on all of them. And eventually, if they get too bored, they will just leave the platform and go somewhere else. So these platforms will lose money. I can go deeper and explain why, but just trust me with that. Average view duration is the most important thing. And I don't care what anyone else on YouTube has said. You need 5 comments to 2 likes. All of this is useless advice. Average view duration is the most important thing. So hopefully you've written down that on your notes. And now you're probably questioning, okay, how can I create a video that has a high average view duration? And I'll tell you that. There's pretty much 3 ways to create a video with a high average view duration, or increase your average view duration. So the first way is to tell a story. The second way is to sell mystery. And the third way is to give the viewer a reason to watch. Now, effectively, they can all really go together, and if you can get all 3 of them in, then that's a perfect video that's going to go viral. But you want to focus on just one, and the 2 really come with it. Now, if you've ever scrolled through TikTok or YouTube Shorts, what you've probably realized is the videos that go crazy viral are the ones where it's just a kid sitting down in front of his phone and telling a story about something that happened to him. For example, I don't know, a kid was walking into a shop with his grandma and they almost got robbed. But if they tell a story about that, then the video gets like 30 million views. It's just crazy. And the reason for that is that if you can get somebody watching 5 seconds of your story, they don't want to quit until the very end of it and you've told it all. So videos with stories keep people engaged the whole way through because they're constantly wondering what's going to happen next. So that's the first way, and you're pretty much guaranteed to go viral as long as you tell a good story. And the second way, which really come with telling a story, is to sell mystery. Now, selling mystery is a complicated thing, but it's basically you tell the viewer at the front of the video, at the very beginning, what's happened, and then you lead up to it at the end of the video. So you sell the mystery of what's going to happen. For example, a grandma walking into a shop with it, might get robbed. You would say at the start of the video, this is how my grandma and me almost got robbed. And then you would start off going, and we were walking into the shop, but you would build up until you come out of the shop when you're about to get robbed. So you basically leave a whole gap in the middle of people questioning what's going to happen. But because they remember the first bit, they don't want to leave until the end because they want to know what happened. So that's selling mystery. Another way people do it is, people who do finance videos will go, this is how you can make 10 grand a month. And then they'll tell you at the end of the video how you can make 10 grand a month. But in the middle, they'll be going, well, this is me and I've done this and this is this. They'll be giving all the advice, but you wait until the end because you want to know what's happened. And then the third reason is giving the viewer a reason to watch. And what that basically is, comes in with the second part of selling a mystery, but it's more so you give them the advice up front. So you tell them, this is how you can make 10 grand a month online. And then you would just keep telling them new ways to make 10 grand a month. But each way gives the viewer a reason to watch. Now, giving the viewer a reason to watch is probably one of the most important ways to go viral. And if you don't have that, then you're going to be struggling to go viral. And so instead of telling you how you can do that now, I'll tell you at the end of the video so you've got a reason to watch the whole video because you're waiting for it at the end. You see what I did there? If you see what I did there, now you're going to watch the whole video because you're waiting to know how to give the viewer a reason to watch at the end of the video. And so it's a fair exchange of value, which is what you want your videos to be like, is you want to give the viewer a reason to watch. Like I've given you a reason to watch because I'm going to tell you how you can do that. And then in return, you're going to increase my average view duration by watching the whole way, getting that at the end of the video. But I will actually tell you how you can do that at the end of the video. So the first point is average view duration, and those are the 3 ways you can increase your average view duration: tell a story, sell mystery, and give the viewer a reason to watch, which I'll explain that third one at the end of the video. And so the second most important thing about growing on social media is you want to be building a loyal following, not a following that's built on entertainment. If you've ever scrolled on like Instagram Reels or TikTok, you'll see that there are some people who just make total fools of themselves and they have a load of followers. Some examples are the kick streamers you see, some of them who will go around and doing these pranks on people and just making fools of themselves, but people will follow them because of that. Cough a bit. Except then you've also got the other type of people on social media who you listen to. I always give the example, imagine you have 2 people. You have a kick streamer and you have the person who you listen to on a podcast. Those are very 2 different types of people. You've got the entertainment and you've got the education. Now, if those 2 people were exactly the same and they decided to sell the exact same product, let's pretend it's your favorite kick streamer and your favorite podcaster, for example. So let's imagine they both sell the same product for the exact same price. You're far more likely to buy that product from the podcaster, the person who's taught you something and given you value, than the person who you might watch once a month when they almost run someone over with their car. So now you understand there's the difference between entertainment and education. If you want to build a loyal following that's eventually going to be, buying something from you or just helping you get to places, you want to prioritize education over entertainment, because it's very easy to get followers from making a fool of yourself, but those followers don't really care about you. You could die tomorrow and those followers probably wouldn't even realize. But if your favorite podcaster died tomorrow, you probably would think about it for, a week or 2. So looping that all together as a summary, when you're creating content, you want to focus on providing value rather than providing entertainment. And I will be honest, yes, it's easier to chase the followers through the entertainment and making a fool of yourself because it's way easier to increase your average view duration by being stupid. But the followers you get from that don't mean anything. So yeah, it may take longer to build a following from being educational and helping people, but in the long run, it's totally going to pay off more than just being stupid, because you build an audience based on trust rather than anything else. And when you have an audience that trusts you, you can do a lot with it, rather than just an audience who doesn't really even know your name. So that's the second point. When you build a following, you want to focus on building a loyal following of people who trust you, rather than just building the follower number from people who don't care about you because you've just been stupid to get that. So the first most important point of social media for going viral is increase your average view duration. And the second most important point is when creating videos, you want to focus on being educational rather than entertaining. And then the third and final point, obviously I'll come back to that, give the viewer a reason to watch at the end of the video after this. But the third and final most important point is you need to understand attention is currency. You probably heard the saying, quality over quantity, and it's very true, but a lot of people get mixed up and they think, well, I could always just do quality with lots of quantity. And that's not necessarily true when it comes to social media. One of the main things I've learned over the years of doing social media is that a lot of people think more content is better because more people see you. And yes, that may be true, but it kind of clashes with the second point of building a loyal following. And you may not understand, so I'll give you an analogy that makes it a little bit clearer. So it's basically just supply and demand. The more supply there is, the less demand there is. So I'll give you an example. Let's imagine you love oranges and you really want to eat some oranges. If you eat 5 oranges a day, every day, after about 5 days, you don't really want any oranges anymore because you've had 5 oranges a day. But if you have a separate person who likes oranges equally, but you only give that person 1 orange a day, and some days he doesn't get any oranges, this person who gets less oranges is going to like oranges for a longer time. He won't get bored of it after 5 days, because after 5 days he's only had 3 oranges, rather than the first person who's had 25 and is a bit sick of them now. So using that analogy, you can bring it back to social media, and you can understand that, okay, when you're posting a TikTok or a YouTube short, you've got to understand, don't post 5 a day, post maybe 1 a day, and then have some days off. It might not make sense to you, but just understand that's how it is. You want to focus on quality over quantity. Not both of them, you just want to focus on quality. You want to make the best videos possible about the most important things happening at the moment, and you want to post it occasionally. Once a day, some days don't do anything. I would stay away from posting 2 times a day. You can do it maybe once or twice a month, but after that you don't want to do it, because then you'll overflood the market and your followers will go, well, I've seen that one, I don't really want to do it. So you don't want to post too much content. Limit the amount of content you post, because by doing that, your follower will see you on one day and they'll see one video and it was a great video, but they won't see you for the rest of the day, and then the next day they'll do the same. So every day they'll be waiting for a video, but then one day they won't be a video. But then the next day will come after that, and because they haven't seen one before, it spikes their attention and they want to watch that one. So by posting less videos, you actually get more followers and you get a more loyal audience of people who watch all of your videos. If it doesn't make any sense to you, I don't want to spend any more time going over it. Just write it down, post less videos, maybe once a day, sometimes don't post any. Stay away from posting more than once a day. If you do happen to make a lot of videos and you want to post more than once a day, I would stay away from posting it all on one account. I would make maybe 2, 3 accounts, 2 of them are fan pages that link to your main account, and post the videos on there, because the followers of each of them will then funnel over to this one. If you overflood your own main page, you're going to screw yourself up, like I've just gone over. So limiting the amount of videos you post links back to the first and the second point. Increase your average view duration and build a loyal following. And they both go hand in hand if you follow this last one of creating less videos. For example, if your followers, as I said, only see you once a day rather than 5 times a day, they're more loyal to watching that one video. So they're automatically going to be wanting to watch it for longer because they see less of you. So that's going to increase the average view duration because your followers watch longer of the video. But then it also makes them more loyal because they see less of you and they value you more. So by posting less videos once a day, sometimes no videos, you increase your average view duration because the followers are more loyal. And like I've just said, it builds a loyal following. So those are the 3 points that are most important. I'll get to the last little bit in a moment, like I said. But you want to focus on average view duration, the most important thing of all. And then how you do average view duration is you tell a story, you sell mystery, or you give the viewer a reason to watch, like I've just said. Secondly, you want to build a loyal following instead of entertaining people, because they're more trustworthy and, you know, they can buy from you. And the way you do that is by giving educational content, and you change people's minds, or you help them, or you give them advice and things like that, rather than just, you know, pranking people in Walmart. And then the third most important point is attention is currency. Limit your attention, supply and demand. In other words, post less videos rather than more. And then finally, coming back to the first point of how to increase your average view duration, I've already told you how to tell a story, how you can sell mystery. But then the third one is give the viewer a reason to watch. And there's ways you can give the viewer a reason to watch. But what I've done, if you can remember, is I gave you a reason to watch the whole video because I would tell you how to give the viewer a reason to watch at the end of the video. So you kind of want to link, you know, tell the future, give them a hint of what you're going to do, but not do it so you give them a reason to watch the whole video. So if you personally have waited this whole video just to learn how to give the viewer a reason to watch, then you can realize that I've given you a reason to watch. But what you want to make sure is you over provide at the end. So instead of me just telling you that and then leaving it, I'm going to give you way more advice that you weren't expecting, because then you deliver on the top, and that's where people will follow you, because they've gotten something they didn't expect at all. And by over providing, you only build more of a loyal following than under providing. Because if I only just told you what I told you, you know, stay until the end of the video, then you're not really going to care. You're going to go, it's a bit of a waste of time, I'm not going to follow him. But if I give you way more information, then you might think, all right, I like this guy, I'll see what he's got to say. So there are 2 points. You want to foreshadow to what you're going to be saying at the end of the video, but then you want to over provide on what you're doing at the end of it, which links back to building a loyal following. And then another example, which I can think of from watching business videos on TikTok and all, just studying those, is a lot of people will go, here's 3 ways you can make 10 grand a month online. And then after that, they'll go, but stick around to the end of the video because I'll tell you something which you won't hear anywhere else. So the viewer's automatically going to be thinking, okay, if I'm not going to hear it anywhere else, it might be worth listening to, so I'll wait to the end of the video to listen to that. So not only are you foreshadowing and then you're over providing, but you're also telling them and giving something them which they don't really understand. And so as well as just foreshadowing, tell them you're going to tell them something at the end of the video, you're also over providing on that. You want to give them as loads of advice as possible. But the third point, make them think, what am I going to get at the end of the video? I don't know what it is. For example, I told you that I was going to tell you how to give someone, a viewer, a reason to watch. But if I didn't tell you that and I said, stick around to the end of the video and I'll tell you something which you won't hear anywhere else, then you might have stayed for longer. So those are the three main ways to give the viewer a reason to watch. You want to foreshadow, you want to tell them you're going to be telling them something at the end of the video. You want to over provide on that thing that you told them you're going to do it. So at the end of the video, give them way more, information than they thought they were going to get. And the third point is you can also sell a bit of mystery, and you can tell them, I'll tell you something you will never hear anywhere else. So then they think they've got to watch your whole video, because if they won't hear it anywhere else, then they're kind of missing out. Looping it all back in as a summary in case you've forgotten, hopefully you've written down some notes. But the most important way on social media to grow is increase your average view duration. But when you're growing, the second most important way is focus on building a loyal following rather than one built on entertaining people, because you can eventually sell to them in the future. And the third way is attention is currency, which links back into the second one, which will help you with the average view duration and building a loyal following, because if you limit your attention, people want more of it. So increase your average view duration, build a loyal following, and post less videos. Obviously, if you've got 1 million followers, perhaps posting at 7 o'clock will help. But if you're just starting out growing your first 10, 100,000 followers, then you want to focus on these three things that I've gone over rather than, posting at 7 o'clock. If you want some more advice like this, you can leave me a follow, subscribe, depending on where I post this. And I urge you to follow my Instagram, because everything I do will be updated on there, so you'll never miss anything I do, I guess.